When you think of Jurassic dinosaurs, your mind probably jumps to the colossal sauropods with their earth-shaking steps, or the fearsome theropods with their terrifying teeth. But the prehistoric landscape was also teeming with smaller, swifter herbivores, the unsung heroes and crucial threads in the ancient food web. One such dinosaur, often overshadowed by its larger, more dramatic contemporaries, was Dryosaurus, the oak lizard, a nimble plant eater whose very existence was a masterclass in speed and survival. Welcome back, ecosystem explorers, to Dinosaur Anatomy. Today, we're shrinking our focus a bit to appreciate the agile Dryosaurus altus, a small ornithopod dinosaur that roamed North America during the Late Jurassic period, around 155 to 145 million years ago. It might not have had giant horns or a bone-crushing bite, but Dryosaurus played a vital role in its environment, and its anatomy tells a compelling story of adaptation. Let's start with its classification. Dryosaurus was an ornithopod, a highly successful and diverse group of bipedal, and sometimes facultatively quadrupedal, herbivores, known for their bird-like hips, which includes famous dinosaurs like Iguanodon and the later, incredibly widespread, hadrosaurs, duck-billed dinosaurs. Specifically, it's an iguanodontian, placing it firmly on the evolutionary path that eventually led to those more advanced, highly efficient duckbills. The name, oak lizard, was given by Othniel C. Marsh, its discoverer, likely due to the somewhat leaf-like shape of its cheek teeth, though its diet was certainly more diverse than just oak leaves, which, intriguingly, didn't even evolve until much later in Earth's history. Size-wise, Dryosaurus was relatively modest. Adults typically reached lengths of about 8 to 14 feet, 2.5 to 4.3 meters, and probably weighed a few hundred pounds. Think the size of a large deer or a small pony. This smaller stature was a key part of its survival strategy. The most striking feature of Dryosaurus was its adaptation for speed and agility. Its hind limbs were long and powerful, especially the lower leg bones, tibia and fibula, and the foot bones, metatarsals, which were elongated, a classic trait of cursorial, running animals. The femur, thigh bone, was relatively shorter. This limb proportion, combined with a lightweight build and a stiffened tail, acting as a counterbalance, suggests Dryosaurus was a swift runner, capable of quick bursts of speed and agile maneuvers that would be critical for evading predators. Imagine it darting through the fern prairies and conifer forests of the Jurassic, its every movement optimized for escape. Its tail wasn't just for passive balance, it was a highly engineered structure, reinforced by a lattice of ossified tendons along the vertebrae. These bony rods made the tail remarkably rigid, especially towards its base, allowing it to be held horizontally off the ground while running. This turned the tail into an effective dynamic stabilizer, crucial for maintaining equilibrium and enabling sharp turns at high speed. This is a common feature in many ornithopods, clearly demonstrating its evolutionary advantage for swift, agile movement. What was Dryosaurus running from? Its main predators in the Morrison Formation ecosystem would have been theropods like Allosaurus, Torvosaurus, and smaller carnivores like Ornitholestes or Ceratosaurus. For Dryosaurus, speed and alertness were its primary defenses. Being able to quickly spot a threat and sprint away was crucial for survival. Its large eye sockets suggest it had good vision, another important asset for a prey animal. Let's look at its diet and feeding. Dryosaurus had a horny beak at the front of its mouth, perfect for cropping vegetation. Behind the beak, it possessed rows of small, leaf-shaped teeth, suitable for shredding and grinding plant material. Unlike sauropods that swallowed food whole, Dryosaurus likely did some initial processing of its food in its mouth. It was a low browser, feeding on ferns, cycads, and other ground-level plants. The presence of cheek pouches, indicated by the skull structure, similar to other ornithopods, would have allowed it to hold food in its mouth while chewing, preventing spillage and increasing feeding efficiency. What about its social life? While direct evidence like massive bone beds is lacking for Dryosaurus specifically, some smaller accumulations of fossils and comparisons with other ornithopods suggest it might have lived in small groups or herds. Traveling in groups offers several advantages for prey animals. More eyes to spot predators. Collective defense, though for Dryosaurus, this was likely more about confusing predators and coordinated escape, and potentially better foraging opportunities. 1. Interesting aspect of Dryosaurus anatomy is its hands. It had 5 fingers on each hand, but the thumb, digit I, was short and possibly somewhat opposable, though not for grasping like a primate. The other fingers were more conventional. While primarily bipedal, it's possible Dryosaurus could have used its hands for support when foraging low to the ground, or perhaps to manipulate small branches while feeding. It was certainly not built for quadrupedal running. Dryosaurus fossils have been found extensively in the Morrison Formation of the western United States, particularly in states like Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. Othniel C. Marsh first named it in 1894. For a long time, specimens from Africa and Europe were also assigned to Dryosaurus, but most of those have since been reclassified into different, though related, genera, highlighting the importance of detailed anatomical comparisons. The North American Dryosaurus altus remains the best-known species. Let's summarize the key features of this Jurassic sprinter. Fact: a relatively small, agile ornithopod dinosaur from the Late Jurassic of North America. Fact: built for speed, with long hind limbs and a stiff, counterbalancing tail. Fact: possessed a horny beak, leaf-shaped teeth, and likely cheek pouches for efficient plant processing. Fact: its primary defense against predators like Allosaurus was its speed and alertness. Possible: lived in small groups or herds for safety and foraging. Myth: by omission. It was just insignificant background fodder. Reality: it was a successful and important herbivore in its ecosystem. Dryosaurus might not have the star power of T-Rex or the sheer size of Brachiosaurus, but it represents a crucial part of the Jurassic ecosystem. It was a successful herbivore that thrived for millions of years by being quick, alert, and efficient. It filled a niche that larger, slower herbivores couldn't, showcasing the diversity of survival strategies in the age of dinosaurs. Its bird-like hips and eventual evolutionary connection to the later, highly successful hadrosaurs also make it an important branch in the dinosaur family tree. What do you think was Dryosaurus's greatest advantage in the dangerous Jurassic world? Its speed, its group living, or something else? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed learning about this often overlooked but fascinating dinosaur, please give this video a swift like, subscribe to Dinosaur Anatomy, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching,